Baptists That Amish Chick. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to the podcast, and I'm Cinda Alexander, and today we're going to be talking about friendships.
Woo! Woo!
Yes.
Today we have a special guest with us. We have Cinda Alexander here, and we thought it'd be good to bring on someone with in a different age group to talk about friendships.
And not even just a different age group, right? I think all of us grew up in religion, and this girl has had the wonderful opportunity of not growing up and having to unlearn things, right?
Yeah.
And so that's not just a benefit of her age, it's the way she was raised. And so I'm actually really excited to get your perspective on friendships, because I think sometimes we think, I don't think we give friendships enough credit, right?
Yeah.
Like friendship is what actually brought this podcast to be. And so we're excited to actually bring her on. She sat here and listened to us record a couple episodes, and we're like, come here, get in here, you know?
She's basically my adopted niece. And in case you guys didn't know, like who she is. I'm sorry, my chair is squeaking a lot. I'm trying to like keep it down to a minimum, but if you hear squeaks, it's my chair. Not a mouse.
In the corner.
You said it's Jimmy in the corner?
Never mind. It was a bad joke. Okay.
I was like, if there's a Jimmy, I need to know about it.
Jimmy is like or is he single?
How old is he?
How much money does he make?
His name is Jimmy. So
That sounds like
Anyway.
And she is Dub Alexander's daughter. He was on our podcast like a couple weeks, months ago. Yeah. So that's what's up. That he's her daughter.
I am not a male. Okay. Me and Butterchurn do not switch places.
You're the male?
Wait, no, I didn't mean it. I don't know.
You're good. Oh goodness.
I don't know.
Anyway, tell us about friendship. Like
What do you think is important attributes of a friendship?
I think boundaries is a big thing in friendship, because, and I'm sure y'all are gonna talk about this a lot too, but like for me, I'm really good friends with a friend that I'm not by or with all the time, because like I don't want a friend with like attachment issues or whatever, where like they're like, well, if we're not together all the time, then that means we're not friends because you're hanging out with other friends and you're not hanging out with me all the time, which I have had to cut off like a few friends like that, because I'm like, just because I'm not hanging out with you 24/7 doesn't mean I'm not your friend. And also I know you hang out with other people too.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the boundaries. Also, like, I don't know. I feel like that's a big thing. Also, like being able to trust them is a big thing, because I had a friend, and she actually called me today, but we're not friends anymore. So that's very funny.
Like that's cute.
She called me to ask about the stupid thing or whatever. Anyway, and she would like, I thought I could trust her, but I couldn't, because she would like spread rumors about me behind my back. And like, she actually got one of my best friends to not be friends with me anymore, but we're friends again now, but she's not my friend anymore. But the thing is she thinks we're still friends. We're not. Like,
Wow.
I don't know. That sounds really mean, but
It's not.
I think sometimes what sounds mean isn't actually mean, it's loving yourself.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's
So
like just a slight perspective shift on that. Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's about setting up boundaries, right? Like I've had that too, even in the last year or so, where there was someone that thought we were closer than we were, and I was like, I need to set up some boundaries. Like I've let someone come a little bit closer when there isn't that kind of trust that I need. And really, like I need my really close friends to be like, hey, I know if I call you up, you're going to be able to help me out if I'm really struggling with something.
And
So-
like confidential stays confidential. Like you're not going to talk about me or things behind my back. you know?
Yeah.
So that can be a good thing.
So like, as soon as you find out you can't trust someone, cut them off. Otherwise, it's gonna get so much worse, and you're gonna find out they're like only talking to you to get information out of you, to talk about you. and stuff. So like as soon as you find, what I would do is I set boundaries, and as soon as someone breaks one of them and I feel like they can't like fix it, I guess I like cut them off. I guess like I don't know how to explain it.
No,
I think you did.
Yeah, that's a good key, because you even said, you didn't say as soon as they do something, then I'm never talking to them again.
Yeah.
You said if I realize, or I don't know if this is exactly what you said, but you kind of basically said if I realize that they're not going to be able to fix it, or they're not going to put in the effort to fix it, that sort of thing.
That's what I was trying to say. If I know that they're not going to try and put any effort into it and stuff, like
because friendships aren't one way,
right? Do you ever feel like you can like have conversations with those people where you're like, hey, you did something that like broke trust with me or broke a boundary?
Well, I did with this particular friend. I had a conversation with her, and she was like, but the thing is I confronted her about what she did. I was like, hey, I know that you did this, and I would appreciate if you would stop. Like, and I was like, that's just like not very nice, and blah blah blah. And she was like, no, I would never do that. Like, that's so not me. And I was like, are you sure? Because I literally saw you do it.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows. And I could just tell then like she wasn't gonna make the effort to like apologize or be like, yeah, you're right, I won't do it anymore, like I'm sorry, like that kind of thing. So I just stopped talking to her. But yet she still tries to make an effort to be like by me all the time. So I don't know. It's complicated.
I think you're hitting things that a lot of adults don't even want to. Like there's a lot of adults that are going, oh, like right now. Like
I just first time went to a friend and went, hey, that hurt my feelings, instead of just getting upset and keeping a secret. I was like,
right,
you're doing it. And how old are you?
11.
That's
11.
Yeah, dang. Cinda's like schooling us right now. Like I really, because a lot of adults, like you said, don't want to actually go there, and they like
it makes sense, and we know we need to.
Yes,
but I think we're also so afraid of being awkward and uncomfortable that we avoid the things that are necessary.
And I think another important thing to do what I was like saying is because I did have a friend that did that to me, and I went and talked to her, and she did apologize, and now she's like one of my best friends. Like,
do you think you're stronger now? Like, do you think your friendship's a lot stronger because of that?
And like I could tell she actually like made the effort. So you have to talk to people about it. So because they can change if they're willing to make the effort to. It's always great. So
it shows that they value you too. You're like, wow, they really value me as a friend enough to like put an effort on this.
Like she acknowledged that she made a mistake, and now she's like awesome.
I love that. Like you just started out with boundaries, and I was like,
I know that. I was like, well, I didn't see that.
Don't even think about that. Like,
I like amazing. Right before we started, we are like, it'll just be a quick, fun episode, and all of a sudden, like boundaries. Oh, okay. You're learning.
Doesn't mean I can be serious.
That's true. I'm sorry that we like put that. You know, I don't think we intended to.
No,
like, you just have to make the effort.
Okay.
He's gonna be a real friend right now.
Yeah, as long as you make the effort, Bethany, to fix it, it's fine. I tried.
Like, do I see that you can fix it?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll do.
I'm kidding.
I'm so afraid now one day, but
I know we're all like, now we're scared.
Cinda's gonna come up to me and like, Berlin, I don't think you have it in you.
I don't know that you can fix this.
I don't think we can be friends anymore.
And Berlin's gonna be like, Cinda. Okay, you keep the undivided heart in business.
So what are other things do you think is good to having a friend? So you said boundaries, you said being able to trust them. What are other things?
That they like understand you, because I don't know how to explain this, but like if my friend understands me and understands my heart and what I need, and it kind of goes all the way. I feel like all these three things like tie together.
They do.
But like, if I don't know,
no, you're
like just understanding me and who I am and what I need, and not trying to force me to become someone different. Or trying to make
they want you to be,
or who they are and they want me to be like them. Just like understanding who I am and what I like and what I need. that's a big thing because sometimes like friends will like try to get you to, or like what's it called? Peer pressure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Things and stuff, which that hasn't happened to me, which I'm thankful for,
Mhm.
because I think my friends, if anyone, like all my friends know that I set boundaries from the start.
Mhm.
So like they know, like if I don't want to do anything, don't force me to.
Yeah.
And I will admit sometimes I have like slipped and I've done that to other people, but then I was like, hey, I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. It was just like, it just like came out. I
Mhm.
guess, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I acknowledge it because I know that I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
Mhm.
So if I did do it to another friend of mine, or even if I like started to and I didn't notice it,
Mhm.
but then I realized, I would like be like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's so,
So, like-
self-aware of you. Like,
Also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like,
Sorry.
I'm not done.
hold
Well,
on
no,
to you.
so.
This
Well-
takes the people.
Also, if you want to have a friend that does these things for you, you also have to do it for them. Because I feel like some people are like, well, they're not treating me right, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, yeah, well, you weren't doing it to them either. Like,
So my next question for you was actually like, what aspects of you make you a good friend? Because I was like,
I-
you do like the way you're talking, you're self-aware. And so I'm like, I know this isn't like a huge question. Like, you know the answer to this. So
again, like I was saying, what I look for in a friend, I know that other people love feeling respected, honored, loved, like thought of. So I do all of that for my friends. So it's kind of like treat people like you want to be treated, pretty much.
Yeah.
So like I treat my friends with honor, respect, value, love, kindness, trust. Like I trust my friends so that they can trust me.
Mhm.
So
I have an interesting question for you.
okay.
So I sometimes feel like kids know how to create better friendships because like you guys are okay with having an argument with, like, do you ever get the little tips with your friends, like little arguments, or even big ones, right? But
Yes.
keep them back in your friends still,
Yeah.
right? As adults, like oftentimes if there's an argument, we're just not friends anymore.
yeah, it's just done.
And
And it's
like,
not
there's just
talked
a-
about. It's
Yeah,
just like, oh,
just like disappear, right? And so are there things as being I don't want to call you a kid because are you tween? Is that what you are?
Twin, yeah.
You're a tween. As a tween, are there things that you see in adult friendships that you're like, you guys need to do better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, tell us, how do you think the adults need to do better?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I think some adults are Karens. Like some people,
Can you define what a Karen is?
a person that complains for no gosh dang reason. They like find they seek problems. They
Yeah,
don't try
I
to
think
find
that's-
they don't try to find good, they try to find the bad.
Mhm.
So I feel like a lot of people in friendships try to find the worst in people and again like try to fix them, I guess,
Mhm.
even though they're only looking for the worst, and people slip up sometimes, but like they just need to like love them unconditionally and
Mhm.
figure out like what they really need and trying to just instead of trying to just like fix them,
Mhm.
like figuring out what if they need heart healing, like something like that,
Yeah.
or like how you can like help them just like be better, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think like whenever you're looking for something, right? Like you were just talking about, like you're gonna find it, or at least you're gonna fit something into the box to where it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think that's where, like, it's not necessarily a boundary, it's a wall. And it's literally just
Yeah.
like, I need to keep people at bay
Yeah.
because you're like,
Yeah.
whether you think you're protecting yourself, you're actually just isolating yourself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's good.
Anything that.
Or some adults, not like y'all know I'm not talking about.
Yeah. We're not like a regular friend, we're my parents.
No, I'm not. I love you all.
We know. We know.
Crap. I lost what I was
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
argue.
You said some adults, not y'all.
I did. Hold on. Someone else talk real fast.
I was like, we had just talked about boundaries and like putting up walls and keeping people distant.
And then I asked you, what else do you feel like?
oh yeah, some adults, I feel like they set up their expectations too high to where they can't be met.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you get into that kind of like habit, like you need to have expectations, otherwise it's gonna suck. Like, but I don't set my expectations too high and be like, well, they have to be this, they have to be this, they have to be this, because I did that one time and then I realized that they weren't that, and I loved them for who they were. You know what I mean? So setting up your expectations too high and expecting all these things out of a friend is not healthy, I don't think. Unless it's like you expect them to tell you the truth, because that is
right.
I think there's minimum expectations, right?
But you can't expect them.
I expect them to bring me a puppy for my birthday every year.
Yeah.
And I expect, you know, like,
Don't expect me to even remember your birthday. I won't ever
yes,
do that.
exactly. And some people actually flip out if their friends like forget their birthday or something. I'm like, y'all aren't like sisters. Like, chill. I don't know, just I don't pay attention to a lot of adult friendships. I just focus on my own.
but that's a big tip too, right?
Focus on your own friendships instead of trying to fix others.
Well, and I think if you focus on everybody else's, you're going to be like, well, my friends don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. And so it can even create that feeling of like, well, my friends aren't very good because they don't do these specific things. No, your friends are actually amazing because
they are
who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and do you feel like sometimes people have friendships because of like what that person can do for them instead of because they like that person for who they are?
Yeah, because I feel like some people, if they find like a soft person almost, that they'll feel like they'll be able to like mold them into this person that they can do whatever they want. Manipulation. So I feel like some people, y'all probably haven't seen this show. It's a show called Miraculous. And there's this, it's like the mean girl and her like assistant, but they're friends, but she's just really controlling her instead of really being friends with her. And I think that's awful. And I think no one should do that. I'm like, if you don't love them for who they really are, then it's not worth it, I feel like. Which I feel like everyone should love everyone except for like if they're like a criminal or whatever. But everyone should treat people with kindness.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like people do that sometimes. And I think it's awful.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've seen that.
And I feel bad for the people that feel like they can't escape a friendship like that.
Yeah.
That's really good, because I think there's a lot of people, I've seen friendships where they're like, oh, we've been friends since we were kids, and they've actually been manipulated by someone since they were kids. And I knew a couple girls, there's three of them, a set of three girls, and one of them was really mean to kind of everyone, and she would go from being really nice to being really mean, really nice to really mean. Yeah, so it's like when the good times were good, they were really good, and then when they were bad, they were really bad. But they always went back because of the sentimentalness of, oh, we've been friends for such a long time.
It's literally the plot of Mean Girls, the movie.
Yes.
It's like Regina George.
Yeah.
She's mean when she needs to be, and like she seems really nice and like complimentary.
When
and as soon as they walk away, that is the ugliest skirt I've ever seen. Right?
Like, these are so cute, where'd you get it?
My mom's in the 80s.
That's so ugly.
Well, and like it's so interesting to me because those people that are like quote unquote stuck in those relationships who feel like they can't get out, then they think that that's what friendship looks like.
Yeah.
And then they like that's the only friends that they have, because they're like, well, that's just what friendship is. Like, I just always have this role to play in a friendship. And I'm like, oh my goodness, they literally conditioned you to like believe
it
that
becomes about performance.
Yeah. And like, what do I have to do to be your friend?
Exactly.
Instead of like, I just like you for who you are. Like, what you do really doesn't matter unless you're untrustworthy or something, or you do something, you know, like, but whatever you can do for me isn't the reason that I like you or I want you for a friend. But I think a lot of friendships are based on that. Like, I'm talking about adult friendships. I don't know how it is being a tween. Like, if you see that happen.
I also feel like in friendships, sometimes one person is really immature and one person is not immature. And sometimes they clash and sometimes they balance each other out. And I feel like there's never really a mix, I guess. So you just have to find balance, I guess, in a friendship like that.
Yeah.
But
What would you tell people to, if they're looking for a friend? Like, I want to have friends, right? Like, what are like?
Are we talking
the
to kid or an adult? Who is she talking to? Because it might be different.
It's true. Well, I'm talking to you, so I guess it's a tween, whatever.
yeah,
But I feel like you also, the tips you give also applies to like adult.
I think sometimes like at the basic foundational
Yeah,
level,
that's
the
what I'm
friendships
saying.
we learned to make when we were 11
Yeah.
should still be the foundations of how we pick and choose our friends now
Yeah.
too.
Right. Yeah.
so I think you just can't, and I feel like it's hard for shy people because they're nervous to put themselves out there because there are mean people. And
Mhm.
sometimes you can't tell that unless you like really get to know them or talk to them. And then I feel like some people have done that and then they've gotten a rude person of who they tried to be a friend with.
Mhm.
And then it like knocks them out.
Yeah.
So what I do because that has happened to me where I was really good friends with this one girl at school. And then we were friends for a long time. And then I realized like she wasn't really my friend. She was really mean. But the thing is that she wasn't rude to me. She was rude to other people, but she was rude to my other friends. And I feel like that's a big red flag for me. I'm like, if you're rude to my other friends, we're done.
Yeah.
Because like I can't do that because I have to stick up for the people who I know that are super nice
Mhm.
and like who are really my friends instead of you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like
It's a key for us as grown-ups.
it's good it's good to be protective of yourself, but you also can't hide. So really I feel like try to figure out like a person's qualities and see if you really like them and get to know them. And then sometimes that will flourish great friendships and sometimes it won't. And you have good ones and then sometimes you'll fails. And that's okay because I've had a few fails too. And so really just make like, think in your head, like, I want my friend to be kind. I want her to be trustworthy or him. Like just loving, caring, all these things. And if they are and you find out that's a great person for you, then like become friends with them.
Mhm.
And I feel like for kids, it's really not as hard because I feel like kids are more outgoing and they're like, well, I don't care. I'll just try to be friends with them. You know what I mean? And again, like sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but you have to like protect yourself, but you can't shy away from opportunities.
Mhm. Kids aren't afraid to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
They're
They're not
like
as easily
scared.
offended.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
They
like-
don't like me. We didn't
Yeah.
get along. We didn't have the same interests. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I also like they get over it in like 2 days.
It's true.
So I feel like it's easier as a kid to make friends because you can really just go up to someone and be like, hey, what's your name? And they'll be like, hi, blah, blah, blah. And that's how I made my best friend, Ellison. We're like best friends now. And I literally went up to her in dance class one day and I was like, hi, what's your name? And she's like, hi, my name's Anderson. What's your name? And then like we just kept talking and now we're like best friends. And so just
we
like,
need to start doing that. Like just walking up to somebody and be like, hey, what's your name?
but also don't be a creep.
I mean, no, I'm just like,
I like how she's like, listen, Beth.
yeah, it's like, first, like, don't go
I
around Walmart.
Bethany, I just need you to know.
I only talk to people that I actually want to be friends.
Bethany's in the
Yeah.
freezer section. Hi, what's your name?
She like pops around the corner.
Hi, what's more?
They like move the box and she's
Yeah.
like, hey.
Oh, that's funny.
Why are you in the freezer?
Oh my gosh, she's like behind the freezer. You know how they like
Yeah.
stalk it from
Yeah.
behind and someone takes milk and she's like,
Hello.
And the next thing I know, they have milk thrown at my face.
I don't know what happened. I
She's
just
like-
woke up on the floor.
That's a boundary. You don't throw gallons of milk in my head.
You don't know milk at friends.
so
And they're like, well, you don't scare friends, so.
Don't live in the freezer.
also, I just thought of this, be yourself. Do
Oh,
not try to be someone else to become friends with someone.
Yeah.
Because I know like for tweens or kids or whatever, being popular is like a big deal or whatever.
Well,
And I think
We're grown ups that is too.
It doesn't
Well,
stop.
I think it's stupid. And And I know so many people try to mold themselves into this like persona or whatever to try and be someone else so that
Someone will love them more.
someone will love them or they'll become their friend. But if you're just who you are, you will find a friend. And it's that easy. Just be who you are and someone will love that and appreciate it. And you'll find a friend.
I feel like you just gave a lot of people hope.
Like, and it might take a little bit, but it'll happen. If you just have to be yourself. You can't mold yourself into something different. Especially like in the Mean Girls movie. She was just herself, the main character, I forgot her name.
Katie Heron?
Yeah.
I got you.
She was she was herself and she found two great friends. And then she wanted to be in the popular group. She molded herself into something that she was completely not. Mm-hmm. And she lost all her friends. And it took her a while to get them back because they were like, well, I don't know if I can trust you anymore. Right. But she made the effort to come back to her true friends and
be herself.
Be herself, yeah. So always just like, don't mold yourself because into like trying to become popular, like someone everyone will love, because that will just end up not very good.
Well, then nobody will love you, really.
I was gonna say, I feel like that just like keeps the hose. There's like no one
because no one will love the true you, unless they like know the true you and they're like trying to like help you get back.
Yeah, but you can also only help someone so much until they, if they don't want to be helped or they don't want to, then it's really hard.
Right. So I feel like that's pretty much for like all ages, really.
It is.
So yeah,
that's good stuff.
Man,
I feel like I just like got a lesson.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
What can I say?
She's like, you're welcome.
I need to read a book.
I should write a
You should. You do it. Write a friendship if you want to.
I do.
Okay.
She's like, I mean, I've just decided.
Yeah. Just today I made that decision.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So is there any other tips you want to give people on friendship? Any last minute words of wisdom?
No, but let me just do a quick summary real fast. Okay. Set boundaries with your friends, and make sure that you can trust them, that they love you, and that they understand who you really are. Don't mold yourself to become something you're not, or don't let other people do that to you, and don't do that to other people, because that will just lead to bad things and it'll be awful and a train wreck. So don't do that, because then you won't have any true friends. So just be yourself and treat people the way you want to be treated. And I know everyone says that and it sounds super cringy, but it's true. So yeah.
That it?
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Cinda.
Yeah.
It was fun to hang out with you and learn from you.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure everybody who's listening right now is like, oh my gosh,
that's a lot of wisdom for an 11-year-old.
And it is. What can you say?
If you don't see her on video, you need to see her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, definitely. I hope you went to the YouTube video and watched this. Cinda, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yes, we're so happy
I'm glad you came on for Friendship Month. I think that's great.
Yes.
Because I think you gave a lot of people a lot of foundation that we needed.
For sure. And reminded people of things. I think sometimes as adults we forget.
And I forget too sometimes.
Yeah. So I think even as adults, we kind of sometimes, I know I've done this for myself, so I'm just speaking from my own experience, that things that I knew were true as a kid, I'm like, oh, I'm an adult now, so it's not somehow being older makes that not true anymore or whatever. I know I'm not the only one who's done that, but I know I've done it, and I'm like, man, I need to go back to being more like a tween or a child in the things that really matter, because I feel like y'all have a really good handle on what actually matters and being
most of us.
Yeah. Some exceptions. That's most
people. There's a few people.
There's a few rotten apples.
Yeah. There's a few Karens that are tweens.
Child Karens.
Mild Karens.
My skin crawl.
Oh my goodness. So funny.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Cinda. Thank you guys for listening, and give us some feedback first. Send Cinda a message if you think if you got any takeaways, send us a message and we'll like show it to her and be like, listen, Cinda, you changed people's lives. Because I'm
so like parents are making friends like crazy now.
Cinda, because I have 5 new friends. Tell her.
I found him at Walmart, the freezer section. I popped him around the freezer door.
Look, what else you got? That was cringy.
Oh my goodness. No, that was funny.
Go have cereal potluck with your new friends and your gallon of milk. That's the moral of the story.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Get out.